Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CK Café. How you doing, Rosie?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing, Ethan Felizzari-Castillo?
Oh my God, that was such a good pronunciation of my name.
you.
It's like you know it so well.
It's
or
almost like I
something.
know. I hear it a lot. Yeah.
It's almost like so. I'm good. I'm I'm very excited for this episode.
I know.
This is a great episode.
Yeah.
With a one Mr. Parker Foster.
The Parker Foster.
The Parker Foster.
Indeed. Yeah, we had such a good time chatting with him.
Great
I could have
time.
chatted with him for like 8 more hours.
It was crazy. We literally did, though. Like, once the episode ended, we just kept the conversation going.
Yeah.
It just was amazing. Parker is if you don't know who he is, he's a wonderful filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker, has made some wonderful shorts, really engaging commercial work. And also, he runs probably the most popular filmmaker meetup networking event in New York City called Filmmaker Friday. It's an event that happens twice monthly, and it happens not just in New York, but also happens in Chicago. And it's just like the best type of filmmaker networking event.
Yeah.
It's crazy because our producer Anabella literally
goes to the events
Filmmaker
often.
Fridays,
And so many of our guests on CK Café
have come from there.
come from there.
It's
Yeah.
insane. And a lot of people we work with too. It's just so wild. But like, it shows you the power of networking, especially networking when there's someone leading the charge
Yeah.
who is really, his heart is in the right place. And he's awesome. And what he's doing for the indie film community with Filmmaker Friday, what he's doing with his films and his focus on films having to do with mental health. It's really amazing. And I'm just excited about it. I'm excited for everyone to listen to this episode. So
please enjoy our conversation
with Parker Foster.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to CK Café. I'm Rosie Dean.
I'm Ethan Felizzari-Castillo, and today we are joined by the amazing, my favorite adjective of all time,
Yep.
Parker Foster. How you doing, my friend?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you for coming on.
This is adorable. I feel like
I
I'm in like an
appreciate
apartment and
I
like
know, right?
It's cute. I feel like I'm like the set of like Friends, but like 2025 Friends.
That
you
is
know?
the best compliment. That's great.
That's so
I love that.
sweet.
You know, the thing about this place, every time anyone comes in, the thing that they say is that it feels like home. And like, I love that. I think that's what we always try.
Well, we
all of our
spend
spaces.
enough time here. It's
It
starting to
basically,
feel so.
it basically
Yeah, I
is
thought I
home.
walked into someone's apartment. I was like, this is
Yeah,
cool. You
yeah.
guys are really
I know,
grassroots.
the little loft up here, the little
Yeah.
string lights. Yeah.
Someone walked by the other day and they like peeked in and they were like, "You guys live in here, don't you?" We were like, "No, we don't. I promise."
I'm like, there's a shared bathroom. I don't want to live here.
It's communal space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
it's very.
nice.
It is like there's people cutting wood over there
Yeah,
across the way.
crazy.
No way. Well, dude, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about what you do, about your art and your amazing Filmmaker Friday. There's a million things that you do, and I want you to get into all of it.
I'll give like the spark notes and then feel free to kind of take it wherever you want to from
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So I originally started as a filmmaker in like the world of skateboarding. So this is like 2011, 2012. And that purely came out. I've been always trying to figure out like when that light bulb moment happened, which I don't think it ever happened. I think I just woke up one day and enjoyed the idea of documenting like friends skating.
Yeah.
And I was the worst skateboarder of all my friends. So by default, you get handed the camera and it's like, go film this because you can't do it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
cool.
That's so.
But
funny.
then you become like one of the most vital pieces of the friend group.
Well, yeah, because you're capturing all of this. So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, it's like
can't go
Pixar
out
didn't happen,
without
right?
you,
So
yeah.
I think that was like the whole part of it. There was something about getting out of school, going to the skate park every day, and filming friends. That was like, there was some sort of high that came from that, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I think when you're like, at the time I was 14, I don't think you even clock like, is this a career path? Is this what I want to do? You're just so in the moment of like, I just enjoy doing this every single day, and that's it. Like, you aren't even thinking past like the end of the day. At that time, this is around the time too that like DSLRs and 5Ds and 7Ds are coming out. So there's the sort of entry cost to get into filmmaking is not expensive. It's not like you don't have to shoot on film. You don't have to have access to these like tens of thousands of dollars of cameras. Like, there's a $500 DSLR that you can have and you can go make something. Because at the time, all of these, whether it was films in Sundance or TV shows, were like shooting pieces on these 5Ds and 7Ds.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to go shoot my friends with at the skate park. And so I felt like I had like the entry point to go make something larger than just skate videos. at that same time, I was really into music videos because a lot of independent artists were coming out and just making their own content. Because there was like this sort of rebellion against labels and just to go do it yourself, go make your own content, hire a local filmmaker, and just go make whatever you want to go make. Because there's no sort of rules when you're independent. So I'm watching these skate videos that I'm growing up with watching. I'm then watching music videos that artists I'm enjoying are making. And there's like this fusion that happened because the songs of the music videos I'm watching are the songs I'm making into skate videos. And so I start to watch the music videos for the songs I'm using in these skate videos, and then that makes me then want to go do music videos.
Yeah.
Love it.
So then I turn 15 and decide I want to start doing music videos for like local artists in Dallas, Texas. So that was my high school job from like sophomore year of high school to senior year of high school, was shooting music videos.
Dude.
And I eventually started to work with every single local artist. And when I was a junior in high school, I won Dallas Filmmaker of the Year. So there was some sort of like, I guess, calling to say like, okay, this is something is happening that's supposed to be happening, and this is like a path I want to take. But again, when you're like in high school, for me at least, I'm not thinking that far ahead. All I know is like I enjoy making these music videos. I enjoy skating. I enjoy just creating.
Yeah.
So like, what does the next level of that look like? And so that was sort of like the genesis of like Parker the filmmaker.
Wow.
So after that, I graduate high school. I decide I want to move to Chicago because all the artists that I'm looking up to, whether that's Vic Mensa, Chance the Rapper, they're all blossoming right now in Chicago, and I want to be working with them. So I moved to Chicago knowing I'm going to drop out of college, but I have to go to college because my parents said I had to go to college. So I go to college for about a few weeks, end up skipping all of my classes to go shoot music videos during the day. And then I'd start doing just like freelance music video work in Chicago and just drop out of college. So I went full-time freelance at like 17. And so that's kind of like, and that's been this, I've never had a job since then, because I've just been freelance since 17 years old in 2013.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
That's awesome, man. Wow.
it all started with music videos and skateboarding. But just to kind of like speed up to present day, what sort of happened in those years of doing exclusively music videos is that primarily all the music videos I were making were like flashy, cool, fun. Like they didn't really have a lot of substance.
Yeah.
And by the time you make 300 of those and you're watching what friends that you're making are making, and you're seeing films that are coming out, and you're sort of realizing like you've gotten to this to be a storyteller, not to just like film like rappers in a mansion with slow motion smoking shots,
Moving the
throwing money.
camera
Yeah,
side to
exactly.
side. 100%.
Because it was messed up, because I was watching, like, the videos I was making were getting, there's videos I've done that have over 200 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
That we went and shot in 45 minutes that look terrible. But it's because there were these, like, big artists. And then I'd go watch stuff that my friends would make. They get 3 views, but, like, I'm crying at the end of it because it's so emotionally riveting. And it's like, that was the first time as, like, a 20-year-old that I was like, okay, view count and, like, quality of work do not equal each other. Like these are two separate things. Like just because something has 3 views doesn't mean it's not good, and just because something has 150 million views doesn't mean it's good. So I had sort of like an identity crisis, as one does at 20 and 21. It was like I can't do this anymore. Like I want to go tell stories. So I pivoted to like narrative and commercial, primarily like directing, and that has sort of been like the path that I've been on now, is wanting to just be a storyteller and tell stories that feed me, not just like emotionally, but like can sort of be conversation starters for people as well, because I feel like I'm for the most part tackling subject matter that is relatable to most, that some people don't like to talk about, whether that's mental health or anything to do with just the ups and downs of just being a human, and addressing those like uncomfortable conversations, but putting them out there to then make it comfortable, because people are seeing an example of that in a film rather than just imagining it.
Totally.
So yeah, that has sort of been like this, my mom calls it like this like constant pivot and just like all these turns, because it's just, if you asked me, and there is like an interview when I won Dallas Filmmaker of the Year, I'm 17 and I'm like, I just want to make music videos for the rest of my life. And like that was my goal. And it's really cool just to realize that like you don't have to submit your future. Like you can really just be focused on like what that passion is at the moment. And once you're exhausted of that or feel like it's time to hang up, whatever that is, you can go and pivot to something else. Like you don't have to lock yourself into this like 360 deal for life of one thing.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of art, right? Like art is, being storytellers, being artists, like you can there's so many different ways to tell a story. And like music is one, and music videos, skate videos is one, you know what I mean? Documentary work, commercials, like narrative
That's the beauty
features,
of
anything.
freelance art.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
'cause you can
yeah.
constantly be changing like what it is.
You're not
that
tied down.
freelancing with. Yeah.
And what changed that blueprint for me as well is that one of the first kind of skate videos I watched growing up was called Fully Flared, which Spike Jonze directed. And that's
Wow.
that's when I found out about Spike Jonze and seeing that that's someone who tackled skateboarding, music videos, commercials, film.
features, yeah, everything.
At that time, like I thought everything was like you had one path and like you could only do that. But once you see someone that you look up to sort of pave their own way and go these different directions, like it's so strange that looking back, but when you're just coming up, like you put too many rules on yourself and think you have to
100%.
do that. But
Yeah.
I feel like we become artists because we don't like rules, but for whatever reason, when we become being an artist, we then create all these rules for ourselves, and it's kind of like backwards.
And benchmarks and things that we like have to hit by this time, or do this thing, or this thing has to give us the next job or whatever. Yeah, sometimes it's just about making the thing. And just
Every time, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Every time. You're right. Well, dude, I mean, I love that you've done so many music videos, because that's actually how I started too, especially as a director. Like I started only doing music videos. Like same way, like whatever local rapper or friend that I had on Long Island, in the city, wherever it was, I was just like, yeah, let's make something. You know, I taught myself how to direct and how to shoot and do it all myself. You know, the same.
You kind of have to be like the person who wears all the hats, and that looking back, that's super informative, because then you learn all these different roles out of the sake of just there is no money, so you have to do everything
out of necessity. Yeah, you
it's
learn.
like your own film school in a way.
Yeah. And I didn't go to college. Same thing as you. You know, and I kind of had that same exact path where I didn't have the education, the formal education of all this. I had you committed to doing this, now you got to figure out how to get it done.
Right.
You know, and I think there's a lot to be said about that kind of path and where that puts you for the future of all your endeavors and everything that you do. But you know, another thing you do, you know, we'll talk about more of your films, because
I know that was like 15 years in 5 minutes, but
but it was like so beautifully paced, and that
really
was a story in and of itself. I'm like, I was hooked.
Right?
Yeah,
he's a director here. I think, you know, one thing that I love about what you do is that not only do you have such a passion for telling stories and you're so great at it, but you also care about connecting people through Filmmaker Fridays, this amazing event that I think if you are in not just New York, but I think if you're just tapped into independent film.
Well, we do them in Chicago as well, so we have Filmmaker Friday Chicago and Filmmaker Friday New York.
I think if you just are tapped into indie film all over the country, you know about Filmmaker Fridays at this point, and you've done a wonderful job.
I don't know if that's true, but
I
that's
believe
nice.
that's
I think it might be true.
Dude, I think it is so true. The first person who ever told me about it was not even from New York, was from Detroit. So that's how I knew that. I'm like, oh, what is this thing? Whoa, this is so cool. And he was visiting, and he was like, yeah, I came. I'm doing some client work. I'm going to an event called Filmmaker Friday. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And I was like, no, what? And it's incredible, man. It's incredible what you've built and what you've done. Can you explain a little more about what it is, why you started it, what inspired it?
Yeah, so like I said, when I started doing the music video route, I hit like a ceiling in Chicago, and I wanted to move to LA.
Yeah.
And so I moved to LA originally because I wanted to keep doing music videos in LA. As we know, LA is the mecca for creatives. Like, you throw a rock in your apartment complex and someone owns an Alexa Mini, or like is a director. Like, it's so easy to, like, it's almost a challenge to be like, can I just meet someone who's like an accountant or like a librarian? Like, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But everyone's a filmmaker, and so you would think with every single person being a creative, it would be this communal hub of people collaborating and being so interconnected. But I found it to be quite the opposite, where it was like each neighborhood felt like a high school lunch table, that everyone's kind of in their own little like worlds, and no one really tends to cross paths with people they don't know. Everyone kind of sticks with like their crew, and like you don't really see people intersecting a lot. That was my experience, at least. And so living there for 3.5 years, you get kind of exhausted of that, because you're just like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, why do I feel so alone in a place that I shouldn't feel alone in, and not feel really connected to anyone, yet everyone in like the 0.1 miles of me is also a filmmaker or some sort of creative. Yet I don't feel like
things, does the same thing.
I thought it'd be in the same way I thought when I went to film school. I thought every single person was going to be in love with film and like have all these like goals. And even going to film school, people were like, I don't even know if I want to be a filmmaker. And I was like, what? How did you end up here? This is like a very niche thing.
Yeah, that's such a niche thing to be like uncertain about studying. Wow.
Yeah. And same thing with LA. You come there and you think everyone wants to connect, and they don't. So when I moved to New York, and I moved to New York purely just because I wanted to live in New York, and it had nothing, like, there wasn't really any work out here for me, but I just, like, wanted something, I just needed something different. And I think you have to kind of just, like, throw yourself into situations in life that are totally out of left field just to kind of almost realign and recalibrate. And for me, that was moving to the other side of the coast and moving to New York. And I knew moving here that was going to change, where I wanted to connect with people. And I knew that the filmmaking scene here was more of a sliver of a pie rather than the entire pie like in LA.
Yeah.
So I kind of went to the extreme, and when I moved here, I met with 2 new people every single day for a month. And so I would leave those 2 meetings and then ask someone to connect me with someone to meet the next few days. And so it just was kind of like a domino effect.
Ooh.
So I met with 60 people in the month of July of 2019. And that was amazing. But every single person I would ask who I'd meet with, I would ask them really, like, what events or what kind of ways to connect with people are happening here. And there didn't really seem to be a consistent one. There was maybe a quarterly one, a holiday one, a special one when, like, Tribeca came around, but there wasn't, like, a monthly event. And by the time the 55th person tells you that, you're like, okay, well, people want this, I want this, so I'm just going to go do it. So I met with a friend of mine at a studio space in Williamsburg called Mikasa Studios. And I was telling him this, what I'm telling you guys, of just like, I think we should start doing events. And the owner, Dave, who ran the studio space, overheard us talking and was like, well, if you guys want to, you just host them here if you'd like. And I was like, great, cool. So in September of 2019, I started doing these monthly events.
Wow.
And they were purely just for the sake of bringing people together every single month. And for a while, and what I mean by a while is just a few months, because 2020 was around the corner. But these events were growing, and they were a bit different where they are now, where these would be more mostly panel discussions with filmmakers, and then a mixer would happen afterwards, where I think for the most part, like, our events now are just mixers.
Yeah.
But it'd be like a director and a DP who work together a lot, and the conversation would be about, you know, how does a director meet a DP? How does a DP meet a director? And what does that relationship look like? And then someone got, like, a staff pick on Vimeo, so they came in and they screened their staff pick, and they're like, here's how I got staff picked, and here's why you don't need to go into making projects saying I'm making this to go win an award, because you'll never win an award like that. Like, it was very meaningful conversations.
That's great.
And then we had our January 2020 event. That was great. And then for February 2020, I reached out to a friend of mine, Chase Irving, who shot Black Klansman. And the director of that was Spike Lee. And it was huge because this was, like, the biggest director he's worked with. He was going to come in and talk about how he came up from, like, this scrappy filmmaker to then DP in a film with Spike Lee.
Yeah.
This is February 14th of 2020. So that was the week that the world shut down with a pandemic. I was going into 2020 being like, this is going to be the year that Filmmaker Friday and, like, the world of community kind of takes over. And then it quite literally did the opposite, where we all went inside and it was very insular. But looking back, that was a tragic couple of years. But the beauty of that was that I think we were so apart from each other as people that when we came back together, we realized how important community was.
Yeah.
And so these events sort of relaunched in 2022, 2023. And I found that it was a lot easier to get people to come out to these events because everyone was so
Everyone wanted to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had been like a turtle trapped in their shell for like 2 years and just like away from everyone. And I think you get a little comfortable with that, and everyone becomes kind of, I think, recluse in a good way, where they're like, they kind of like not being around people. You kind of get used to it. But then once you get around people again, you start to feel that high inside, what it feels like when you just connect with humans, and you can't replicate that with anything else in your life.
No.
Yeah.
So that really changed everything, was coming out of that pandemic and having people reconnect again. So that sort of was like version 2 of like late 2023, when kind of things became more open and more just like the world was becoming like the new normal, as everyone called it. But that was sort of like the reiteration of what was being built in 2019. So what is happening now is sort of what I think would have happened if like the pandemic if that wouldn't have happened. So right now, for the most part, everything that we do with Filmmaker Friday are 2 monthly events on a Friday, and for the sheer purpose of just bringing people together and putting them in a space. The reason why most of the time we don't have panels or like a proper event, because I feel like we're spoiled in New York, where you could like text me tonight and be like, hey, do you want to go see this like Quentin Tarantino Q&A? And like that would be normal.
Yeah.
So we can't compete with that every single month. So I think just having a space people can come to, and there's like there's no pressure. You can just like show up, get some snacks, get a drink, and just like hang out with friends if you want to. And there's like it's not like this big event that you have to work up to. I think most creatives by nature are the most introverted people. So I think when you give them too many things, like saying here's an itinerary of what event's going to be, I think you push people away.
Agreed.
So knowing that it's just a place I can come and meet people, it's awesome.
Yeah.
What's different though about Filmmaker Friday in Chicago that we do, because we do New York and we do Chicago, and both are 2 events every month. Those events, just because it's not the same insanity of events that happen here, where there's a million filmmaking events that happen. Chicago, way smaller film scene, not much happening in terms of like directors or filmmakers coming in and doing these large panel events. So we primarily do panel discussions in Chicago. So I went to the Chicago event 2 weeks ago, and that was a board of a panel of 3 different film festival sort of people, and then talking about what that process looks like, how you go about getting to film festivals, how to submit to film festivals, not just making something and saying I'm going to submit to Sundance, not even realizing that the film you have is not really a Sundance film. Like, very important conversations that we don't really have access to if you don't realize like those are things. And so the Chicago events are really more for the kind of panel discussions that are kind of more eye-opening and just like
educational,
just kind of helping people out. And then New York is just to bring people together. I think New Yorkers in general just like a place to come hang.
I think that's
so
true.
nice.
So that's the last 7 years of Filmmaker Friday.
Dude.
I love it. You must know so many filmmakers and people in the industry, right? Like you, for the most part, a lot of the people that you collaborate with,
effect,
I
right?
would imagine you met through that, right?
Right. I mean, me being a filmmaker, I already have like my Rolodex of people, but I mean, it's definitely ballooned like crazy because you meet so many people who come to these events.
Yeah.
But what's so rad is that I think the events are really for people who do not know anyone, or at least starting out and just like have no connections whatsoever. Filmmaker Friday is meant to eliminate like 75 coffee meetings and let all those happen like at 1 or 2 events.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, I mean, we're all humans. Like, you can't just have a coffee meeting every single day with someone. It's like, economically, that's like not good. And then
not in New York.
Yeah, and then no one wants to just be on Zooms all day talking to people. It makes a whole difference when you can just meet people.
In like a low stakes environment
and
too.
Catch like a genuine vibe of like, do we get along? I feel like when you set a meeting or like a general, there's so many walls up, there's so much tension that doesn't need to be there. I feel like an event like that, it's like, who are you really? Who am I? Do we vibe? Are we aligned? Yeah,
and you tell me what you do, and like I hear more about you, and then 3 hours later I might meet someone. It's like, oh, you have to meet this person I spoke to earlier, and like I've seen that happen a lot too, where it's like these like reconnects happen of like, oh, I met this person earlier, this person's perfect for them to meet. And like it's just kind of it's like the perfect marriage of just bringing people together who just want to connect with other people.
That's amazing. What's your favorite story that you've heard about connection coming out of Filmmaker Friday?
I mean, there's a lot, which is I think every single event I go to, somewhat at least one person will come up and be like, I literally made my first like short film, or I made this. Without Filmmaker Friday, I wouldn't have been able to make X. Like, and it to know that was like a stepping stone to be a part of like their creative journey is huge.
Yeah.
For me, the most important thing is that I think it's almost in a way I'm doing these to pay it forward for people to go through this process of like meeting other people, and like it's people for the most part who are starting their careers, and if they can have this experience with Filmmaker Friday, and then as they grow in their career look back on that and want that as well, and they start doing their own events, like for me I'm hoping there's like a domino effect of more events like this to happen. I'm not trying to have like a monopoly on events. I want everyone to go make their own events. So people will be like, hey, you should go do this event like tomorrow. It's like, you should go do it. Like, it's like, why don't you go? It's like, you should, it's like, that's what's so amazing is like, if you have an idea, go do that. Like, you know the people. So like, don't rely on anyone else to do that. You should just go do it yourself. But in terms of just like, if you want like a specific story, we had an event 2 weeks ago for my friend's film Urchins, and he made that film because 3 years ago he came to a Filmmaker Friday and he met a DP there. They became close friends. They never worked together, but they just stayed close friends. And then when he went to go make his feature, the DP had originally fell out, and he called his friend Tom, who he met at Filmmaker Friday, and Tom stepped in, and they both made this feature film, which was both their own first feature films together.
I've heard a lot about it, a lot of good things about it.
Yeah,
too.
And so for
wow,
people, and I think that was the most important thing, was that they didn't meet and say, we're meeting and like if we have something to work on, great, but we're never going to talk. They were friends. And I think that was and that's what I talked about at the event, was that come there to establish like friendships and just meet people.
Yeah.
And the addition and the cherry on top is that you may work together.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as like, because everyone's been to an event where you just see someone kind of leeching around and just kind of wanting
trying
just
to find their team for their short or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't work like that, because I would much rather, for any set that I'm on, whether it's one with a crew of 50 people or 2 people, I want to work with my friends, because then we're just having fun, and we take the work seriously, but we're not taking ourselves seriously, and we're enjoying the time we have together. Like, we're so spoiled that we get to be filmmakers for a full-time job. So why would I want to work with someone who's just miserable and like not nice and just like wants to just like squeeze kind of whatever it is I can give them, and then they can move to the next thing. Like, I want to work with the people I'm friends with. So if you establish friendships, like, do that first, and then let that then be the entry point to the collaboration that you have together.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Totally.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, I feel like events like yours are so vital for like the growth of indie film too, you know? Like, it's amazing.
It removes the gatekeepiness too.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're trying to break into something like film, it's so hard to like get people to take a chance on you, and like we had for our feature that we just shot, the intimacy coordinator, she's amazing, her name's Marissa. I found her on TikTok, and she had made a TikTok that was basically just like, I am so well read on intimacy coordination. I'm like, you know, I took this course. I'm so ready to go. It's my dream job, but I just don't know like how to get hired. Like, it's so difficult to get your foot in the door. And like, thank goodness I was doom scrolling that day, I guess, because I was like, come do it for our film. We need one. And then it worked out. But it's like, I feel like so many people have the energy, the passion, the skills, but they just need that avenue to like get in, meet people.
You say
like,
gatekeep. That's exactly why it has continued to, I think, be successful, is because the other reason why I want to start these is because all the events I was going to as a director were paid events. You had to pay to play. It was like a sorority or fraternity where you had to pay to go meet people, which made no sense to me, because if you are not working and you don't have the money or the means to go to a networking event, then like you're just kind of screwed and you can't meet anyone.
Yeah.
It's the people who are working that are going to these events. So everyone at these events that are paying $200, $300, $400 to go to these networking events, it doesn't really allow anyone else to come in. It doesn't solve any issue of people not being able to connect, because it's the same people who are working it. It just kind of locks people out, and it's gatekeep's a great thing. You shouldn't have to pay to connect with humans.
No. Yeah.
So every Filmmaker Friday event, there's been a few exceptions, but 99.9% of the time they're all free events.
Free or low cost. I mean, that's what we've noticed about you guys.
Yeah,
like
and if you hit us up and say, I can't afford this, cool, you're in.
Come on in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not, it has
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, it's you are not, you're never rejected from an event because of financial status. I think that's
100%.
crazy.
That's great.
So that's kind of the other thing too, is like, I don't want to gatekeep people from meeting each other because of financial reasons. Like, that's just not right. Like,
Dude,
it's just it's not helpful, and
not
it's not right.
There's so many events where I feel like they're so predatory, and they'll be like, okay, come to this thing. It's at this conference, and it's in this weird place where you're going to have to pay all this money to go to it, but you're guaranteed to meet some investors and get in front of the right people. And they prey on filmmakers, on indie filmmakers who don't have the resources, that don't have the experience or the support system. And they go and they drop, like you said, hundreds of dollars sometimes thousands of dollars on getting out to events that will probably give them nothing, and they'll just go out there and feel awful about it. You know, it turns you off to the idea of ever networking again, or turns you off even to the idea of making films, you know? So I think I love what you do, man. I think it's so important. And, you know, you're a huge part of the New York film community. I'm sure people have told you that already a bunch, but like, genuinely, without what you do, without your events, I think a lot of people would not know each other. Our amazing producer Anabella, met so many people who we've had on this show through your events, you know, and it's like, we wouldn't have had them on this podcast if it wasn't for your events, you know? So I think like there's so much that you do to bring people together. So thank you for it.
Well,
Just gotta thank you for it, because it truly, that's been our whole ethos with CK, has always been community first, right? Like, everything we do, we started off as a community theater, like low $10 tickets to go see your local production of Annie. Like, that's how CK started. It was me and my friends making it in high school. And when we started making films, even now with our monthly shorts that we were telling you about, our whole idea is like, we want to make sure to do things that are accessible for people. We have been trying to do more free theater, right? Theater is like one of the most gate-kept art forms in the world.
Which is so weird because it's the one that you can do like on the spot,
Yeah,
anywhere at any time.
I could
But for
perform
some
all
reason,
on
it's
here.
so expensive.
Yeah. And
I could put on a one-woman show on the street and make it free to come to.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's so difficult to find free theater.
free theater and like
And it's usually a free class in high school you can take too for theater. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all it's like the most accessible art
Dude,
form.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is one of the most accessible art forms. You
It's
don't
like an
need
elective.
beer, you don't need any.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. So like for us, like, you know, anything that could be free or cheap, like even the events that we have, we do, you know, screenings and different kinds of events. Our focus is always how can we keep the price low. You know, sometimes, like you said with Filmmaker Fridays, there's some events where maybe for some reason you have to charge a little something, but for us, it's never about. We're not going into it like, now we're gonna make all this
I don't
money.
think we've ever made a profit off of
No.
an event.
And
Like, we
don't
always
care
lose money.
to. We don't care
Yeah,
to.
that's
We're
not
like,
why you do
we
it.
do raffles sometimes where like just the fact that we bought this gift card to B&H is going to put us in the red, and that's fine. You know, that like for us, the events, just like your events, I think it's about community, and I just appreciate it so much. I know Rosie appreciates it too, but like,
Well, that
Yeah.
means
It's
a lot.
amazing,
I don't
dude.
want to. I don't want you to go too much on a tangent so we lose that moment because that was like the nicest thing anyone's ever said. So that means a
Oh,
lot.
man.
Aw.
I think it doesn't seem like you're. I mean, for me, it's like not even a side hustle because there's no money made from it. But it's like it's just like my day job is commercial and narrative directing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Filmmaker Friday is just like this thing that exists in my life as well. So I don't. It's not like this. It doesn't feel. It's not like this job. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
I feel like it's there because it needs to be, and like I feel very much like a parent. Like I can't like
Can't let
I
go.
Yeah, I can't let it go. Yeah, I mean it's definitely been something where it's like, is this really helping people? But then you go to the events and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is it. And like you guys said, which is
Yeah.
very nice words. You don't realize the impact it's having till you talk to people, and it's like, okay, this is
Yeah.
helping people, which is important.
It is, man. You got to keep it going and you know, keep doing this amazing work because it is just it truly is so important, and it's the best way to pay it forward because like I think a lot of filmmakers, we care a lot about how our films are going to live on and like the legacy of that film, even if that's not why you make it or whatever, but it's just like that is a thought that I think all filmmakers have, that like once I wrap this, once it's out forever, you know. And I think like this is I mean, Filmmaker Friday is like the best legacy ever to have, you know. It's because you get the opportunity to connect people. I mean, imagine how much art is going to be made, probably art that you don't even know that's being made right now because of the event. So yeah, man, not to blow too much smoke
For me,
up
it's
you,
the
but, you know.
turnover of like, I think people eventually will be like, I have my people, and like I don't need these anymore per se, but like I'm now going to talk to people who are new, who I'm not going to put them here, and it's almost like a graduating class bringing in like freshmen after that. So
Yeah.
for me, I
So
think that's
cool.
what keeps it consistent, is that there's always be people who are emerging filmmakers, and I think that's
Yeah.
really the primary audience that it's like built for.
It's so great, man. It's so great. Well, want to hear a little bit about your film too, and your films and what you create and you know what you focus on. What are you working on?
My feature
now?
film, yeah, no.
Feature, yeah.
Someone told me last week they loved that I made a feature film. I've never
You're
made a
like, never
feature
made
film,
it?
but yeah.
Oh, that's so
That's
funny.
so
What are you working on, man? Tell us.
Well, it's interesting. It's been since it's an interesting time because starting like in last I guess a year ago, last July, I started making a film called Sage, a short film, which was like a men's mental health short film for a nonprofit called Scatterjoy, and they're based in Columbus, Ohio.
Mm.
So that was like, I had a list of like 10 projects that I wanted to do. It was Sage, the men's mental health project. I want to do a Volvo spec. I want to do a Hinge spec. I want to do another poetry film with my friend who also is in Sage. And I had all of these sort of films that I want to do, and I was also hosting this Hoboken Film Festival last year. So I had all of these things I was doing, and so I went through all of those, and now I'm at the end of the list. So it's like a fresh page now. So
Amazing,
Oh.
dude.
I made 3 mental health short films in the last year, and for me, that's been the most fulfilling. I've even had mentors who are like, I think you need to like maybe find like a new thing to talk about, but I disagree with that. I think it's something that I feel like for me, at least with my personal experience with mental health, it's something that am seeing consistently every single day talked about, whether someone losing their life to suicide, hearing other people's stories about depression, anxiety. It's like these are like daily stories and occurrences where I feel almost not a pressure, but like a need to be making work like this consistently and not just be making one-off mental health projects every 1 or 2 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because these are the first projects that I've made where, and I mentioned earlier, I did music videos and skate videos. You drop those and like the comments are like fire emoji or like, this is dope. This is sick. This is that shot at 2 minutes was so rad. You drop a mental health PSA, especially the first one I made, Be Here Now, which was a suicide awareness PSA. The comment sections are like short stories of like, this was me 3 years ago. And like, I'm so happy that I can now see that other people are dealing with this because I don't feel alone. And when you see 1,000 of those comments over the years, it changes everything about your focus and what you want to be doing. And it's like, it's still fun to go do flashy stuff every now and then.
Sure.
Like I've done motocross stuff where we like light a ton of stuff on fire and have a dirt bike fly over in slow motion. But that's such a short-lived high where it's like, you drop that and it's like, cool, for 3 seconds that feels good. But then you put something out, like again, I put out the suicide awareness PSA 5 years ago. It's still winning awards. It's still garnering conversation. People are still emailing me about it, that they found sort of meaning in their life after watching that. You can't help but not want to keep making stuff like that. So for me, I'm sort of in this new, and I say all that because what I'm working on now is I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is going to be, because I have sort of gone through my checklist of all the projects that I want to make, and I've made those. And so now it's figuring out like what it is I want to do next.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think I'm still in that period of finding that. I think there's a fear that comes into that because I have that sort of feeling of like, have I said everything I need to say? Like, is this it? Which that's not true. I've been down that road a million times of feeling like that. But this is definitely a weird time because we're sort of in very much the curators of like what we're gonna work on. Like, there's no one to kind of give us like an assignment to say like, this is the next thing. Like, you in your own being are conjuring up what that idea is gonna be. And I think with everything I'm tackling that is very usually visceral and like very personal topics, that it's such a emotional kind of whirlwind to like go through that and say like, what am I wanting to like put out there next? And so I'm in the sort of, I think, beginning stages of figuring out what that is and what that's going to be. And what that has sort of developed in the last month has been me realizing that I'm ready to go make a feature. So I've started to outline and write my first sort of draft, my first feature. So that's been like this next journey.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
So you write and direct your work, typically both? Okay, cool. I love that. I love when people do both.
I could never,
That's so cool.
I could never be given like a script and say like, go make this. For me, I would tell the writer like, you should, like, why aren't you directing this? And I totally respect like the collaboration between writers just want to write and directors just want to direct, but like I have to direct the own stuff that I write.
That's amazing.
But what's been really beautiful is that I think the last like 4 films that I've made, and I think almost every short that I've done, there's always a script that I write, but most of the time it's turns into improv pretty quick. So I've never made anything where it's like off the book, like just scripted.
Wow.
I find that I cast a lot of real people who relate to the characters I write about. So I kind of throw the script out the window pretty quickly and just have them be themselves. And for me, that's been the most kind of like litmus test for the most realness that you can get from something.
Yeah.
Like, who am I to say you should feel this way when you could just emote how you feel inside and almost treat it like therapy?
There's something so raw about that. Like that kind of capturing that just is so special.
Yeah, I remember, especially for that suicide awareness PSA, in that PSA, this person's having like essentially a panic attack, not knowing like what if they feel like they're even going to make it through the day because they just want to disappear and not be there, and like they're just, everything's kind of overwhelming. And so I made sure to cast someone who has had those thoughts and feelings before. And the trick that happens is that person can process feelings on camera that maybe had not been fully processed, but to the audience's eye, it's just really good acting.
Yeah.
And so it protects this person because they're just shown as like a really good actor, whereas in actuality and in reality on set, they may be going through a lot, but it's reading as just really good acting, and it gives them that safe space to kind of be protected by that.
Totally.
So I try to really live in that world for everything I'm doing is to allow, even if it's not a real person, I shouldn't say if it's not someone who's a traditional actor and it's just someone that's just like just cast off the street, they can just lean into their human emotions and not feel like they're on or like have to be an actor. Because I think if you can find someone, even if they're an actor, just a real person, if you can find people who have been through these experiences, you get the most authentic reactions because they're just processing and sort of regurgitating what they've felt in the past, and I think you get the most honesty with that.
Do you feel like when you're directing a like regular person in a role like that, the director approach becomes like a lot more hands-on, almost like a therapist in a way, where you're sort of guiding them through emotions and stuff like that?
It can be. I think for most of everything that I do, whenever we go into the initial conversations, like even before I cast somebody, it's like I also open up to them.
Yeah.
This is why I wrote this. This is where these feelings come from. This is what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets put on the table emotionally, and so it's not. It becomes an even trade between me and whoever's on camera. I don't think it's right for me to hold everything in and have them go through that, and they don't. It's not shared. For me, I think there's a bond that gets built between whoever I'm working with because they know where I'm coming from and they know all my inner demons and what I've gone through, and I think that then allows them to feel comfortable knowing the person behind the camera is looking after me and taking care of me. I think it's less of a therapist and more of just like a proud parent or like someone who's just like
a good friend.
Good friend.
100%.
Someone, It's there's no hierarchy to it. It's like we're on the same level, but I don't know how people, like, I have so much respect for actors, the fact that they can go in front of a camera and just say these lines and put this emotion out there. Like, I feel like a coward, like I just wrote this on a line, I'm behind the camera, you know? So I think that and that is also respect that gets reciprocated, like also when I'm first meeting them. Like, they know I'm like not worthy of them. Like, I'm so happy that they're there and like doing that. So it's very clear why this film's being made. They know everything about me. It becomes like a therapy session really for me to give all of them this information so that then they feel comfortable opening up and being whatever version of themselves they need to be to portray this accurately.
Yeah, I took a theater therapy class in college, and one of the exercises that we did was we would write down a story, and it didn't have to be anything, you know, crazy traumatic, but just something you want to like work through that you feel like you haven't unpacked, and you write it down or you tell it to the class, and then somebody else or a duo or a trio gets up and they act out the story in front of you, and it's like therapeutic for the whole group because you're seeing your memory like play out in front of you. It gives you a new perspective on that experience. And then for the people acting it out who likely have gone through their own similar version in one way or another of what they're portraying, like everyone just ends up feeling like this huge weight lifted and they feel so much closer by the end of it. And so, yeah, it is truly therapy, like drama, acting, directing, art, like it is I think art therapy is like the greatest form of working through things. And I love that you find ways to like bring that to film. I think that's so special.
And it should feel communal. It shouldn't feel like one person's taking the load of everything emotionally and and it almost feeling like they're being taken advantage of. It should be this communal thing where all my sets are not also like in between takes. We're not like in this emo state and like depressed the whole time. It's just everyone's having fun, but it's like we all I think once everything is out there and everyone has kind of put their heart in their sleeves, I think it allows everything to work so much more fluidly because you know everyone there is there for like a genuine reason. I find that I think people have been taken advantage of in the past, like emotional like exploitation, where it's like it's like trauma dumping and people take the people's stories and like go make something out of it, and it's just I don't know, there's something. I think people put up walls at that point, and they're scared to sort of open up, even if they're actors and that's what they've done before.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. It's. I think there's an insecurity that comes out because they're like, what is this person's like actual like sort of expectations of what this is, and like what is their sort of direction they're trying to go. Whereas if you can open everything up and say, this is where this is coming from, this is everything from A to Z.
It's amazing.
I think that eliminates any sort of, there's no second guessing in that person's head of, is Parker here for like the right reasons, and is this a safe space? It's like, that's immediately like designated.
That's what I was going to say. You create a safe space, and I think that's a vital thing to do. as a director. You know, I think that's so important, because I think even more so than any other job, the director, you know, everyone's following the director's lead. It's so important that the director creates that safe space. Rosie is, on top of being an amazing filmmaker, she's an actor primarily, and one of the best actors that I know. I always say that all the
That's
time.
so sweet.
Thank
But
you.
truly, she will be.
Thank you.
She's also an editor, and my running thing is like, I feel like she will be the first person to win an Oscar for editing and an Oscar for acting in the same year. I told her that's gotta be.
So nice.
That's
of
gonna
you.
be her goal.
That's
That'll be,
like such a nice
I
compliment.
do believe that to be the case.
Thank
but,
you.
you
That's
know,
my goal now. You've set the bar really high
yeah,
for me.
now publicly too. Everyone heard it. But as an actor, you know, so many stories that you've told me about, you know, not feeling safe, not feeling protected. And like you said, a lot of times, I think what a lot of writers and writer-directors do is they'll make stories that feel very vulnerable, and then they go, okay, now you do the thing, and now I'm going to be back here. And I think
hear
that
war stories. Yeah,
yeah,
every actor I
terrible.
work with, they all have stories. And every
Yeah.
actor's got a stories of being on a set, and it's just like, you just want to hug them and say like, I'm so sorry. Like that's like not how this should be.
no.
Yeah,
No.
it's tough.
Yeah, I just
You could just hear.
I just
You
saw
heard
that-
it in
yeah,
her voice.
Exactly. Every actor has. I mean, every single actor has stories like
A
that.
million stories,
And
and it's
that's
so
what
sad.
makes taking that next job, taking a chance on that next project, even more of a intentional decision every time. And I'm about to go do a film in Canada that is pretty emotionally demanding, and I believe in the material, I believe in the vision of the thing, and I'm like ready to go and do it. But I am going in with like a heightened awareness of like, I need to make sure I'm okay mentally through this, because I've taken, you know, chances on emotionally demanding projects in the past, and like considered quitting acting afterwards because of how genuinely traumatizing the experience was. So, you know, I feel positive about this one, but I do have to unfortunately go in with that awareness constantly of, okay, am I regulated? Am I okay? Do I feel safe? It's a lot. But having a director who can meet you there and can sense that and can provide that safe space, like we're saying, like that's so huge.
And that's why that's taking sort of that's the priority as soon as, not even it's before the project even starts. Even when it's interviewing actors, like these conversations are happening, so they know from the jump, like
Yeah.
this is what they're coming into.
That's so nice.
Because I just have heard enough stories now where it's like it's just not right, and
Yeah,
it
it's
sucks that has to be how it goes. But I think in the end, it actually is a huge benefit, because I think actors are the best collaborators also on these scripts as well, and like on the project. Like it's not mine, it's ours. And I think once you relate that ownership to them, I think that changes everything, because it's not just, they don't feel like a puppet or someone who's just kind of like mimicking what you have written on a page. It's like they have full sort of authority to sort of not take over, but totally make it their own.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's all about building like the sandbox and sort of setting the rules. And as long as we are all operating in the sandbox, then you can do whatever you want in the sandbox. And I think that's the most fun, because then it's just play. It's not, it's not serious.
I love
We're
that.
just like playing.
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. And, dude, it's so funny, because I think we make this job of creating art into such a serious thing. It's just so weird sometimes. I'm just like, yeah, you know, we're telling serious stories and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, it is play. Like we are adults who get to play make-believe and make a story. And like, I think if you don't have that childlike wonder when you approach a project, no matter how deep the subject matter is, no matter how vital it is or how adult it is, like it's just so important to have fun and enjoy yourself. And like, yeah, creating that safe space is where it starts.
I feel spoiled because I get to, my like day job is commercial directing. And what's really beautiful about that is that it's rare, but sometimes you get to work on commercials that are very fulfilling. Others, it's like, okay, cool, this is going to fund the next film I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which it's like everyone knows the rules. It's like fine.
Yeah.
But there's moments. So 2 months ago, I got to do an insurance commercial with David Ortiz, the baseball player.
Wow. Yeah.
Ooh.
And the whole piece was on life insurance and like the sort of uncertainty of life. He had lost his mom 20 years ago to a car wreck. He lost his dad last year to cancer, and then he almost died in a shooting in the DR like 10 years ago. So he's 3 examples of just like either losing people in his life or almost losing his own life. And so, and he's got, I think, 5 or 6 kids. he's about to get married again. Like there's like these people relying on him, but also he's seeing the next generation of his family grow up, and he wants to make sure they're taken care of. I'll try to be kind about this, but the creative that the client had was very much taking advantage of him, and they were exploiting his trauma. Ugh. And I was like, this is weird. I don't like this. So just the things they were making him say and do, like I felt very uncomfortable being a part of that process. So I talked to the art director and said, I want you to print out 7 photos. And I handpicked photos of him and his kids, him and his mom, him and his dad. Not telling the client this, I was just like, I have an idea of what I want. I'm gonna sort of hijack this edit. Yeah. Because I knew I was gonna make a director's cut for this. I knew I wasn't gonna use the agency cut. So I print out these photos. I have my DP roll the camera, and for 2 hours, unfiltered, I hand David the photographs. And before I hand them photographs, and like I said, when I talk to actors and kind of explain everything, off camera, me and David just have a heart-to-heart moment about like life. I talk to him about my history of mental health. And this is like a massive athlete. And it's like that's the cool thing, is that you put down the sort of accolades or sort of status someone has and realize you're just talking to a human being.
Yeah.
That has gone through pain, has gone through happiness, has gone through all these sort of layers of life. So we have this conversation, and then I go, hey, I like made these photographs printed out, and I just want you to just like go through them and just tell me like a memory that makes you smile when you think of them. He ran through all of these photos, and he talks about his kids, his mom, his dad, and that's what made the final edit.
Wow.
I think that was a moment. The reason I'm saying all that is because, one, it's really beautiful to take that experience of like narrative directing and apply that to a famous athlete and for like an actual commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also realize that sometimes the people involved, in this case, the client, and in some cases other directors, are exploiting people's trauma to benefit them. And it's so wrong and terrible. And I can fully now understand why anyone is maybe anxious or hesitant to open up, because I can't imagine what that feels like to be sort of taking loss of your parents to then give business to a company. It's like disgusting.
Yeah.
And so for me in that moment, I felt like it was up to me, and this was all unscripted. This was not in our day. This was not
part of it.
This was like, this was something that like I had like the AD like add in time for, because I was like, this just isn't right.
Yeah.
So that was added in for me to leave that knowing that I wasn't going to be a part of that posse of like Parker was in on this thing, like taking advantage. Like, no, Parker cares about your story and wants to hear from you who you are. And for me, that was definitely a moment that I'm trying to take into everything I do, where I want to be hyper aware of people's just experience and like wanting to make sure that they know I'm there for them. And
That's
whether
amazing,
that's a mental health film that I'm casting someone, or it's David Ortiz and we're doing an insurance commercial, it's like that.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be an asterisk next to those projects.
Yeah.
It should be, every single project should be like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful. It's such an admirable way of approaching it too. And I think all of us filmmakers at some point can lose sight of that because of all the powers that be, the stress on a set, the client, if it's a commercial, if it's some business. So it's easy to go the other direction and go with what that creative wanted. But it takes a lot of guts and experience and compassion and being like just a good person, to go and do that. So yeah, wow, what a beautiful story. My goodness.
Yeah, that is
That's just it's been on my heart really recently, and
Wow.
it's still kind of like really upsets me. So it's just I've never been a part of something on a large scale for a national ad campaign where the powers that be are basically exploiting someone's parents' death to sell insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like
It's like you expect it, but also you don't expect it. Yeah. Like, wow.
I mean, and to know that, I mean, you're the director, so your name's attached
all
to that.
over.
And it was just like, I can't do, like, this is just, you guys can have the money back. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll walk off the set. Like, I can't be a part of this. And so there's a weird dance that happens, especially in advertising, and that's the sort of intersection of like being a film director narratively and then commercial directing, where film is to tell a story and help move people through emotion. Advertising is to sell things and show something so people can make money.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a strange balance. And if you're doing like fun commercials and it's just like, I don't know, Sally's Bake Shop, it's like, okay, fun. There's no exploitation there. But when you're dealing with death and people's emotions and topics that people don't even open up about in private, yet alone on public national TV, it's just, it's sickening. So it's something that I'm trying to be more sort of vocal about. And I'm happy to slow my commercial career down and burn some bridges if it means I don't work with those people. So for me, that I feel like the moral compass comes before the paycheck.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
That's
and
great.
It's admirable that you do that, dude. Like, for real.
And I think too, like, that will speak through the work, and I hope it'll inspire other people to adopt that same mindset, and hopefully we can begin to change the industry, because there's so much about it that's so exploitative of people's emotions, time, ideas, everything. So good job. Love that for you. Love that for...
Well, I think we're becoming more outspoken as people. I think no matter what it is, I think people are learning that you can speak up now, and like people will listen. Yeah. And I think we have a long way to go, but I do think there's been huge strides that have happened with people opening up and being more vocal about this is not right and we need to speak out about it.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think it very much just like when someone sees, like I said earlier, someone sees a mental health piece and they're like, I've never talked about this and I didn't think anyone else dealt with this, and now that I have something to connect it to, I now feel open to talking about it. The same way that if someone opens up about something that's going on set, others have similar stories and they will then feel open to talking about it because someone else opened up that door for them.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Parker, I could talk to you literally forever.
I know, forever.
I don't even want to end. I see Anabella in the corner like, hey, we got to wrap it up. But, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Sorry we didn't end like on a happy note, but that's...
I think it was an inspirational note.
It's a good... Yeah.
It's a good note. It's a good lesson, right? The whole idea of this podcast is also to hopefully inspire other filmmakers and creatives just in general, whether they're in film or not, to just like... see that other people are out there doing the thing and like little things that they can learn. I've learned so much from listening to random podcasts, like things I just would never have considered. And I think this is a huge lesson that people forget about. So it ends on a positive note. It ends on to me, a good note. So
I think just trust your gut and trust the process and know that if something doesn't feel right, you shouldn't speak out against it. Yeah. Whether it's on set or wherever. I think that's just how it should be. I think we're conditioned to know that if someone's older than us, they know better, and that's not usually the case. It's everyone's human and has flaws. So I think to speak out and just to own your truth is the way to be in life.
Love it.
Love it.
Own your truth. That's what Rosie's going to do on this set, too.
Yeah, I am. This is
on every set.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much. Again, we really appreciate it. Can you just let the audience know where they can follow you? They can keep up with your work and where they can follow Filmmaker Fridays, all that stuff.
Yeah, you want to look into a camera?
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Which one? Sure. The fisheye one or
maybe
this one?
Ooh, maybe this one.
Okay, so Filmmaker Friday, we have it in New York and Chicago. So you can go Filmmaker Friday New York on Filmmaker Friday NYC on Instagram, and then Filmmaker Friday Shy on Instagram as well. And then parkerfoster.com, and then hopefully you see a feature film like in a year or two. And
hell yeah, you will. We will see a feature film.
There will be an actual feature, unlike
what
unlike
other
before,
people might have thought beforehand.
There's allegedly a feature out there now, but there's not one. But there will be a feature eventually. Yes.
That's so funny.
Well, dude, thank you so much. Good luck with everything, and can't wait to keep supporting everything you do, man.
Thank you guys for having me. You're amazing.
Oh,
thank you.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of CK Café.
We hope you enjoyed it. It was just such a great episode and conversation with Parker. And just, you said it in the beginning of the episode. I think we might have said it somewhere in the middle. But I could just keep talking to the guy. He's the best. Super, super cool. Make sure you go check out Filmmaker Friday. You can find out all the information online. Literally just type in Filmmaker Friday. Guarantee it's going to come up. If you haven't been to a Filmmaker Friday, go. If you've been itching to network with more people, that's the place to go and do it. So make sure you go check it out and check out more of Parker's work online. He has some great stuff that's out there online and is working on some amazing things. So really pumped to be supporting him.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow CK at CK Productions NY on Instagram.
You can also learn more information about us on our website, ckproductionsnewyork.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our Substack, CK Productions on Substack. And
Do you like my new hair?
do you like Rosie's hair? I hope you like it.
I
It's the
had
first
to.
episode with the new
I
hair.
had to dye it and cut it for a film I'm doing.
I'm very
So
excited
it's very
about
new
it.
and it's very different, but it's here.
Comment on our YouTube channel
If you like
Rosie's new hair.
hair.
And make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you rate and comment on podcast platforms if you listen on there. It's super helpful for our show as we continue to grow it. And thank you so much. Thank you for supporting everything CK. It's been an amazing summer so far. And we're just so grateful for everyone's support for all the projects that we're working on.
And our growing community. It's really
Yes,
been
yes.
incredibly exciting to be a part of.
Yes. And this episode,
yeah.
talking with Parker, just makes it feel, it reminds us the importance of community. So
For sure.
go out there and connect with people. And as Rosie says,
Stay creative, kids.
ciao.